The Cosmic Librarian, Chapter 2.
Please go back and read Chapter 1.
Emma sat at the desk in the dimly lit bookstore. The envelopes her grandfather had left her spread out in front of her. She had hesitated to open them at first, afraid of what she might find. But curiosity won out. The first envelope contained a single page written in Elias's elegant handwriting. Emma, if you are reading this, then I am gone, and the bookstore is now yours. I wish I could explain everything in person, but there are things you must discover on your own. The shop is more than it appears. The books in the back room hold knowledge that few in this world, or any world, have ever seen. Guard them well, trust your instincts, and know that knowledge is both a gift and a burden. Begin with the locked bookcase. The key is not a key in the conventional sense. Follow the signs. Her pulse quickened as she read the letter. What did he mean by, the key is not a key in the conventional sense? She glanced toward the back room, where the locked bookcase loomed like a silent guardian. Emma returned to the bookcase, her fingers hovering over the iron bars. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Ancient, yet almost alive. Running her hands along the intricate carvings in the wood, she noticed small symbols etched into the frame. Symbols she now recognized from some of the books in the back room. One particular symbol stood out, a spiral surrounded by a series of dots. Something about it felt familiar. She checked the second envelope, which contained an old leather bookmark with the same symbol burned into it. On the back was a simple instruction: hold this to the lock. She pressed the bookmark against the bookcase lock, and immediately the air around her shifted. The iron bars shimmered as if dissolving into mist, and a quiet hum filled the room. The lock clicked open. Emma stepped back, her breath catching. The case had unlocked, but what had just happened? Inside, the bookcase held fewer volumes than she expected. Only about a dozen books sat on each shelf, each bound in thick, worn leather. Their covers were embossed with symbols and patterns, and none bore any readable titles. She pulled out the first book and flipped it open. The pages were filled with dense, precise handwriting in a language she couldn't recognize. However, as she traced her finger over the text, the words shimmered and rearranged themselves into English. The Council of the Forgotten convened under the twin moons, debating the fate of the lost archives. It was decided that the knowledge must be hidden, for in the wrong hands, it could unmake existence itself. Emma's breath hitched. This wasn't just a book, it was a record, a history of something unknown. Flipping through more pages, she found accounts of civilizations she had never heard of, maps of planets that didn't exist in any astronomical database, and diagrams of mechanisms beyond modern technology. Either these were extremely detailed fiction, or they contained a wealth of unknown knowledge. One book in particular caught her attention. Unlike the others, this one had a metal clasp that required a specific motion to unlock. As she did so, a folded note fell onto her lap. It was another letter from Elias. Emma, if you have made it this far, you are ready to understand what I have been protecting all these years. The bookstore is a gateway, not in the literal sense of teleportation, but in the sense that it houses information not meant for all eyes. The knowledge in these books has been sought after, fought over, and hidden for centuries. Some would kill to possess it. Be cautious in whom you trust. The man with glowing eyes is not the only one who will come searching. Emma swallowed hard. The man with glowing eyes. She hadn't seen him since that night, but now she knew he wasn't just a strange visitor. He was after the knowledge. And if Elias was right, there would be others. Despite the warnings, Emma couldn't stop herself from reading more. The books pulled her in, their words intoxicating in their depth. One described an ancient cosmic war that had reshaped galaxies. Another detailed the origins of a hidden order tasked with guarding dangerous truths. A third spoke of artifacts scattered across time, waiting to be found. Hours passed as Emma devoured every word, piecing together fragments of a universe she had never known existed. But with every revelation came more questions. What was her grandfather's role in all of this? Was she truly meant to inherit this responsibility, or had she been thrown into something far beyond her understanding? As she reached for the last book in the case, an overwhelming sense of unease settled over her. Unlike the others, this one had no markings, no symbols, just a smooth, unadorned black cover. It was heavier than the rest, and when she opened it, the pages were blank. But then, as she held it, words began appearing. To the one who reads these words, know that you have stepped beyond the veil. The knowledge within is not meant to be known by many, but you are different. The librarian's blood runs through you. You must decide what to do with what you learn, for knowledge cannot be undone. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. The book knew her. Before she could react, a knock sounded at the bookstore door, echoing through the quiet night. At the counter stood a woman in a grey dress. She was pleasant-looking, with greying hair and a regal posture. She smiled gently, but just like with the man with glowing blue eyes, Emma felt a nervous twinge that raised the hairs on the back of her neck. "You are new," the lady remarked. "Yes," Emma said. "My grandfather owned the shop, but he passed recently." "I am sorry to hear that. My name is Myra. I loved the rare books in your grandfather's store and visited regularly. Your grandfather was locating a book for me, and I have come by to see if he had any success. It was very valuable, and I am willing to pay any price." "I don't know about any special books," Emma said as she looked behind the counter. "Can you describe it to me?" "No, but I'll know it when I see it," Myra replied. How odd, Emma thought, such a valuable book, yet she knows nothing about it. Perhaps it's in the back somewhere. "I could help you look," said Myra. "No," Emma said quickly. "I have been all through that room. Nothing there but business ledgers and papers. I'm sorry, but I don't think I can help you." The lady's pleasant smile twisted into a threatening scowl. "You would be well served to be more cooperative," she hissed. Then she turned and stormed out. Emma locked the door behind her and put up the closed sign. Something told her this was only the beginning.
We hope you are enjoying this story. Please like and subscribe to this channel to get notices on upcoming chapters.
That night, Emma sat in her grandfather's chair, her thoughts racing. Who were these odd people visiting the store? What was this hidden knowledge? How was she supposed to protect herself and the bookstore? The next day was cold and rainy. She started a fire in the fireplace and sat in her grandfather's chair, lost in thought. Her eyes landed on a book in the bookcase. On the binding, the name Caldwell was printed in elegant script. She pulled it out and sat back down. As she opened the book, a letter fell into her lap. It was from Elias. "Emma, you no doubt have many questions and may be questioning yourself. You are destined for this. You are more powerful than you know, and you come from a long line of guardians. This book will give you a starting point. Read it and go to the vault. There you will find what you need. There is no greater calling than this. You will be the protector of all that was, is, and will be." The book was a diary spanning generations of the Caldwell family. The last pages contained a family tree, her name at the very bottom. The diary began in Cambridge, England, with Thaddeus Caldwell. It told of a man with glowing skin who had entered Thaddeus' bookstore and offered him the chance to guard knowledge that must remain hidden for all time, knowledge that, in the wrong hands, could alter the universe itself. Each generation had left entries, documenting their trials, warnings, and duties, but one thing stood out to Emma. Every previous guardian had undergone an apprenticeship before taking over. "What about me?" she thought. "How am I supposed to do this alone?" The next day, Emma returned to the bank, but it had not yet opened. As she reached the door, it mysteriously unlocked and swung open. Her breath caught. The bookstore and the bank must be connected somehow. She stepped inside and made her way to the vault. As she approached, the 4 dials on the door began turning on their own. With a heavy click, the vault door swung open. Emma stepped inside, and the door shut behind her. She walked to the safety deposit boxes, her fingers trembling as she searched for clues. As her hand brushed against a shelf, a faint green circle appeared. She pressed on it, and the entire shelf slid aside, revealing a hidden chamber. A yellowish glow illuminated the room without any visible light source. Emma's eyes landed on a small metal box squeezed onto a cluttered shelf. A paper tag dangled from its handle, her name written on it in Elias's handwriting. She opened the box. Inside she found a necklace and a ring, both appearing to be made of gold but oddly lightweight. The symbols engraved around the central blue gem matched those on the books in the hidden room. The ring was large, made for a man, while the pendant hung from a thick chain. At the bottom of the box lay a note from Elias. Emma, these will protect you until you come into yourself. Once you put them on, only you can remove them. She slipped the necklace around her neck. The clasp locked tightly. When she put on the ring, it was far too big. But then, as if sensing her, both pieces of jewelry changed. The ring shrank to fit snugly, becoming more delicate, and the necklace chain adjusted itself. Emma exhaled sharply. Is there no end to these oddities? Just then she heard the vault door open. She turned to see the bank manager standing there, unfazed by her presence. "Good morning, Miss Caldwell," he said smoothly, as he looked at the necklace and the ring. "I trust you have found what you needed?" Emma hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, thank you." Does the bank manager know more than he is letting on, she wondered. With that, she stepped out of the vault, ready to return to the bookstore. There was still so much more to discover.